What's up, y'all? Metronome Madness, episode 11. Today's July 26th, 2025. We're gonna get in this. As I do, I'm gonna grab my shovel this afternoon and start to dig a little bit of a hole. Digging myself a hole so I can dive into it. I've been dying to get into this. I talk about it like that, like I'm getting into something. A lot of people trying to get out of things. There's a lot of things that I am exempt from regardless. Like the fact that I don't have to have a beat here to call this Metronome Madness. Because in the absence of the structured life, you can try to find your own way. Try to find a path to get back home. It was foreordained. But then you start walking on beat just a little bit, getting innocent with the strides you take until you make a mistake. Step off the beaten path and get beaten. Yeah, take it a step back. Back to this, now I'm back in it like it's just a place I got a little bit of room to fill inside this tempo. Let go and just say. I like it though when there's nothing. No kind of structure to try to fill into. No kind of society to try to fit into. And no kind of shoe that's bigger than the one that you got on your own 2 feet. I think a lot of times people try to fill shoes of other people who did things that they thought was cool. And they just can't do it. They try to be like this guy, that guy, and the other girl too. Start counting up quickly to get to something you'll never be. But you seem to like it. And what you really like is the authenticity inside these people that you like to check out. Which nowadays, it's not like a library book. It's like a thing you can just get and keep inside your hallway and own it. Because we live in a modern day where a lot of things are not so far away. It's in our pocket. You used to have to schedule a time to go down to the library and stop, look around, pull out a book or two, see what you'd like to read. Nowadays, you got the entire library of books of the whole earth in your pocket. You know, I've been thinking about this whole Metronome Madness title. I've been thinking about the whole way we can approach this. Because really what we're doing here is speaking some poetry. The way I make music anyway is so unconventional. I like to say unorthodox and untraditional. And boy, does it hit me. It's tricky being in a situation where you're just a kid who's a Caucasian trying to do something like rap music, which used to just be the black people who do it. And all of a sudden, like, you're out of your element. You're an elementary school student in a life full of people who have been doing this all of theirs. But where do the walls come up? And where do the walls crumble down? Because eventually they will, right? Everything that goes up, it must come back down. Because on an earth like this, where we all sometimes miss the fact that everything is just the same no matter where you go, I don't get how you can separate things and say he's a different person because he lives on a different road. You got sections and, you know, divisions where you do. Sometimes that's a good thing. But what doesn't divide me and you is any kind of title besides a son or a daughter of God. In case y'all forgot, I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I've been doing things under In The Image Clothing Company. Welcome. In The Image Clothing Company Music. That's where you're currently at. This stirs up a lot of beliefs and opinions and people's ideas of what the world is or should be. And all right, cool. Just like this. I call it Metronome Madness and there's no beat. walking around, though. And ain't nobody gonna break my stride, brother. I've been thinking about that, you know? I got a cadence. 'Cause my shoes are laced with. I don't know, a little bit off the tempo. In a life like this, you know, I think a lot of people are trying to go so quickly with things, they just miss what's going on all the time. Trying to find something to do in a life full of just ongoing things. And they can't seem to find a single thing to fill their time with. And meanwhile, they fill their time with wasting it. As if they got a place to get. Wherever you go, there you are. Shout out to these shoes. This is the brand Simple. Hey, I bought them used. On the bottom, it does say that phrase, though. And that's the case, bro. Some people running so fast to try to get to where they think they're at. And they're there when they get there. But they were there before they left. Not in the location that they just arrived at, but inside the person that traveled, trying to get that new thing. There's always a new thing, bro. There's always a new thing. You know, I'm gonna break a lot of social norms as I go. I'm gonna break some things like the status quo. I'm gonna break a few guitars along the way. It's already happened, actually. As I make the music I do, you know, I'm gonna show people that it's not hard to improve. But what it does require from us sometimes is to strip things from our lives. Improvement's on the opposite end of what a lot of people think it is a lot of the time. And it's kind of funny, you know, because I'm just this kid. But everything that I'm doing is pretty darn big. Not everything, but I think it'll be cool for all of us, myself included, to look back at all these things that I used to do when I would just sit on the grass at a park, film some videos of me doing, a lot of times, who knows, right? And then see where it goes. Because eventually I'll be venting these things so many times that you might just actually hear what I'm saying for once. I'm sitting here talking about there being universal truths in a world full of people thinking they can just choose to believe in something or not. And oh, by all means, but I don't. I don't believe in anything. And I say it and I mean it. I really do. Because if you just take everything away, what's left? The truth. It doesn't change, it doesn't leave. It's not something you got to achieve, actually. Taking a step back, though, you know? Back where my ancestors' used to roam. A place that seems so far away, but it's actually our home. It's the same earth, from the first man to the last. And a lot of people trying to sit you down like you in some class, trying to tell you how it is when they don't know what's going on. So who am I to say right? And who am I to say what is? Because what if I'm wrong? I got a lot of things to sing like a songbird in the morning time. A lot of times in the morning time I'm actually snoring. Fine. Alright, I get it. It was a metaphor. At least you're listening. At least a bit. Listen into this though, because a lot of times nowadays people only listen to things if it can cause their head to bob around. Yeah. You know, I think there's a beauty in something that isn't structured. Something that just stumbles a little bit, you know? Something that stutters. Something that just doesn't seem to have a rule to it. In a world full of so many rules. that change next week, next month, a year and a half from now. All of a sudden you move out of town, you come back to visit, you wonder, is this still the place that I was living? Because things just change. You know, some people say change is the only constant. And things are constantly changing. They are. But that's not the only constant, because the only constant really, actually, truly is God. And He's not far off from where we are. I just want to make it so clear, I don't care. You know? Pick up your phone and dial the numbers. Whatever ones would spell out CRAZY. Call me whatever you want. Because I get it, you know? In a world full of pleasing him and pleasing her, a lot of us are just saying the word please a lot, hoping that people would stop. We smile and nod. We laugh and we agree to things that we don't agree with. What's up with that? What's up with that? Does that make sense to you? Just agreeing with somebody because you could cause a little bit of disagreements otherwise, and oh gosh, talking about Black Lives Matter, talking about the white guys shattered the charts in this game, and now the Asians are mad. I don't know. Who's really in charge, you know? There's a lot of themes that we seem to come back to when I sit back, dude, and casually spit some facts out to you. Oh my gosh, the kid thinks he knows what's right. I do think it's funny though, you know. It doesn't matter if it's you or your grandkids. Life's just life. And the point of life is to find the light in a world full of darkness. Satan is real. The devil, it's like saying the word Voldemort. Call it a word, call it a name. Yeah, I'd rather call on someone who could actually save. Jesus the Christ. You know, this is funny, man. A lot of people get really confused in life, thinking you gotta avoid things. They call them superstitions. Man. When do you know where to draw the lines, you know? When do you know when to stop believing in stuff? Well, before you ever start. It's just so funny. People will completely avoid something that seems so terrible and turn around and do something that's 10 times worse without batting an eye. Except for that's what they're doing, maybe, to get this person to like them. Reeling them in, you know? Manipulation. It's in this nation, that nation, all the nations. I'm Caucasian, he's black, white, Asian, and black again. Oh, I'm back, and then, talking about race intentionally. Because there's so much tension we seem to be building up. And really, we need to just let loose and let some things explode a bit and have a conversation or two instead of hiding in your room, typing on the internet, saying, hey, I forgot, but I think it was mean because I didn't like them. Holy cow. Don't worship idols. You know, I say it, them holy cows. Talk about the Hindus. Can we just talk about everything that people are so afraid to mention? Y'all Jewish or what? You know? I think we're going to call this one, the racist case just keeps getting worse. The kid's in a hearse before he could reverse his words. He said some things he couldn't take back. Oh gosh. They all act like they can't do that kind of thing. Nobody's making mistakes except for the person that admits that they do. That's what everybody thinks anyway, right? Oh my gosh. Who is right? Who's actually right? Is anyone correct? You know, I don't even care if they are. I don't even care if I am. But what I do care about is trying. Keep trying and trying and try again. Try again, kids. Get up. You're falling off your bicycle. Yeah? Get back up. Get back on a horse. We're riding into town like we own the place. We don't know how to do a thing. A lot of people try to convince you they got everything going on the way that they think they got it going on, and they got everybody else doing the things for them that they have no idea how to do. And that's funny, you know, you go to work, you go to a job, and the reason the person's a boss is because they don't want to do the work. The boss does less work than most everybody else. Unless you're really running your own company. It's a little bit of a different story, but a lot of times that's where people are sitting in the highest story and that got that penthouse view looking over to people like they're peasants, you know, out there with some disinfectant spray, dropping some poison down on the ants. They call it a colony, but man, only if they're the queen. What kind of life we trying to live? I mean, we got some kind of universal things going on, you know, if we can kind of strip everything else away and just look at it as it is. People like to be loved. Who doesn't, right? True story. Call it Metronome Madness. Call it, where'd the metronome go, man? Can we get back to this? This kid's just off the top with some kind of nonsensical nonsense, dude. Talking about things and he just keeps going on with. He threw the metronome out the window, dude. Thought time could fly, so he put it at a 60 beat per minute tempo, bro. All of a sudden, he learned he could throw. Dude's chucking some things across the street, you know? Call it the chocolate chuck. Who else we talking about? Hispanics. Let's rope them all in. Get out your lassos, bro. Southern America. Man. The land of the free is only the northern part of it? Or what? Home of the brave, home of the slave. We're all slaves, bro. Some people get whipped on the back. Some people get whipped when they get back home. Go out with the homies and come back inside and try to hide from their own parents. Some people hiding from slave owners, you know, like people who run in plantations. Man. Some people running from their own sisters, their own brothers. They got an uncle that's housing them because the parents walked out. They're just as dangerous as the dude that's out there in the cotton fields. We're all slaves in the way we're slaves, bro. Until we all get back home. I feel like I was talking about something. I was stepping outside the wordplay to just say a true story about something in the past. I told this girl she needs to let me love her. All right? I was just trying to show love to this woman. A couple years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. How many years? I don't know. Somewhere around there, though. And she said, I don't want any love right now. I don't want to be loved right now, she's trying to tell me. And I was like, what do you want then? Who doesn't want to be loved? We got a universal thing going on here. We got some gravity. We got some needs. Everyone's got to eat. Everyone needs some hydration. People got to breathe oxygen. But they're stopping just a little sooner living than they thought they were going to from the beginning. Right? Because you stripped from a thing or two you didn't even realize you needed because you put your importance on the other things. And then these things just like, ooh, depleted. And all of a sudden, we're all laying on the same level because we dropped dead to the ground. Enslaving other people who used to enslave our people. Complaining about it, you know, on both ends. What's up? Can I say it again? Can I ask the question? Did we forget that we're all equal? I think we forgot. As a society, just as a general consensus, I think that we can come to our senses and realize that, you know, sure, your skin's black, and this dude, it's kind of like less black than the other one, and this dude got like a lot of his black stripped from him, must have fell in a tub of bleach, you know? Yeah, you worship that thing, and this guy over here doesn't worship a thing at all. And this guy worships the sun until it goes down, and then he decides to question his beliefs until the morning. And all across the globe, you got people just square-headed. Headed in a direction that's just going to get him trapped in a corner. We live on a globe. All things eventually come around. All people eventually come around to the truth, too. Deny it all you want. You're still going to die. Deny it all you want. But if you're breathing, you're alive. There's just some truths, you know? Some things that can never leave. And then even if they seem to, they always come back the next time the spring rolls around. Y'all square-headed people, boxed into your beliefs. Who am I, though, right? Can I just remove the pedestal from under my feet? Step down a couple feet and see if I can defeat some people, because we got a feat we need to fight through. That's what it feels like. Such a feat. This life is so hard to live for me because I'm white. So hard for me to live because I'm black. I'm brown. And like I said, this dude's a clown, dude. A lot of people are just painting themselves all sorts of colors. The dude fell on the bleach, right? He went from black to white. Michael Jackson, he was, moonwalking backward. He took a step backward and tripped into a bucket of paint thinner. Took his color off. What about the people at the circus, man? They know it's all fun and games. They're painting themselves all sorts of colors because they understand it. But if you can get over yourself a little bit, you can see through the mask. So there you go. As I say, right? It's like a fishing hole. You never know what you're going to get. Right? Unorthodox and untraditional. I got this life and it's like a fishing pole. You're casting out there, but a lot of people trying to cast people away from them because they made a joke they didn't like. When 5 minutes earlier, that same person made a terrible joke that threatened the other person's life. And they didn't bat an eye. We gotta wake up a little bit, The alarm clock's ringing. The cock's crowing. And if it does it 3 times and you deny Christ, sometimes, that's just what you need to live out the rest of your life. Because Simon Peter ended up doing a lot of good things after living with God in the flesh and then denying him as if he didn't even know who he was, because he feared man over God. And a lot of people are fearing man, and that's why they forgot who we really are. So let's get back to basics. If we can, please, if we can just try. If we can just fall down on our knees like the leaves in the autumn time and then rise. When the spring comes again and the flowers bloom and we start to see that we're all blinded by our beliefs through the winter time. Because a lot of people just were wondering. I talk about wondering and wandering, through desertous places for 40 years. That's usually what it takes, is a dry mouth to really, really, really appreciate the wetness of a nice glass of water. It's funny though, man. Because if I've got more, then, well, it's only going to stay that way if I keep it. But a lot of other people out there just getting seasick, tossed around by life, and they don't even know how they're going to have a meal that night. And you're out there eating your 15 courses after you played 18 holes. And we realize it's a really backward kind of life we live. I'm literally tearing up. No joke. I did not expect to. But it's backward, man. Where's your priorities at, A lot of people put their priorities on things that can benefit them, but only if somebody else is doing it for them. And then what about those people, How are they going to get benefited? It always goes both ways, man. There's oppositions in all things. Oh, man. Because you can't have beliefs unless you have people that don't believe in things. Otherwise, you can't label it as something that you could choose to. There's only truth, dude. I'm trying, man. I'm going to keep trying. The rest of my time on this earth, I'm going to keep trying. the rest of my time on this earth. I literally got emotional to the point of tears in a moment when I wasn't even saying something that I thought was all that deep. Metronome Madness, brother. Y'all can't catch this. A lot of these things fly over your head. But there's plain as day. Like the things that we can see in the nighttime, the lights that fly over the head, leaving them chemtrails in the sky. I can hear one right now. It's a jet plane. Y'all insane, trying to go as fast as that thing. I'd rather sit in the back seat. Let God take the wheel. Because when I turn, the tires tend to squeal. I lose traction, trying to get back to the place that I thought I was at. Find out I read the compass wrong, you know? That true north ended up being something I believed in. I thought I could decide what it was. I got so far off course, you know. I hit a few obstacles. So thank you. I said it at the beginning. It's the 26th of July, 2025. My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In The Image Clothing Company. This is Metronome Madness, episode 11. Yeah, I make music. On tempo, sometimes. With a guitar, other times. I sing. I do some things. Pluck a string or two. But really what I want to do is wake people up. The sun always rises. On the third day, temple was rebuilt. And it's a beautiful place. The presence of God, the second comforter, one of the three in the Trinity. Thank you.